Who do you think will have the best offense in the country this year? One of my close personal friends asked me earlier today. I figured, well, I'm not going to answer you privately. I'll just answer you publicly. 2023, just total yards per game. LSU was the best. Oregon was up there. Oklahoma, Liberty, Georgia, North Texas, UNC, UCF, Texas, USC. Those were your top 10. So Ohio State wasn't top 10 last year. Ohio State could be in that conversation this year. They've got explosive potential at wide receiver. Everyone's ready to see Jeremiah Smith, but you've also got Emeka Egbuka there. You got Carnell Tate there. They should have sledgehammer options running the football too, though. If that offensive line is anything improved relative to last year, they should. With Travion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins in the backfield, they should really be able to play any style they want to. Now, maybe that means they grind it out a little bit more and they don't put up incredible yardage numbers, but they're a better football team. If that's the case, they may not be in this conversation, but that's because they're in better conversations. Oregon, I think, should be in this conversation. I mean, if we're talking 1-2 combinations at wide receiver, Tez Johnson and Evan Stewart's about as good as it gets. That's it. That's an elite 1-2 combo. The list doesn't end there. Dylan Gabriel came in via the transfer market, so that's as big a pickup as we saw anywhere in the country. They're really good at offensive tackle, and Will Stein's one of the best up-and-coming coordinators in the country. So Oregon absolutely belongs in that list for a bunch of reasons. What about Georgia? Georgia was a top 5 offense last year. Georgia could very well be a top 5 offense this year. Carson Beck's back. That was their biggest pickup. We hang out in Athens, and everyone's talking about every other player, and they say, well, Carson Beck coming back. That was our biggest pickup. But Trevor Etienne's not bad either, the running back from Florida, because he gets to run behind an elite offensive line. They're in a good spot at wide receiver. Even with the dismissal of Rara, they still got Dom Lovett there. They are very good at tight end, even after losing Bowers. Oscar Delpa's there. Lawson Lucky's there. Ben Urasek, the transfer from Stanford's probably the sleeper in that offense. Georgia, I think, could very well have another top 5 offense. Now, that is not shocking for people who pay attention to the sport, but this one's even less shocking. Ole Miss should kill it offensively this year. Jackson Dart returning. Even though they lost Judkins at running back, Ulysses Bentley is one of my favorite players now. Ulysses Bentley is a stud at running back. You'll see that very soon. Some of you have already watched him. But if you haven't, you'll see. They're loaded at wide receiver. Their offensive line's the only minor to moderate question here. If they get even B- to B level offensive line play, and they continue to improve throughout the year, as good teams do, there are some names that you'll see play on Sunday that are going to play their Saturday ball in Oxford this year, all at the same time. It could be a special year there. And lastly, I'm not overlooking Tennessee. We had a few different options for this last spot. Tennessee could be one of the best offenses in the country this year because Nico Iamaleava, I got that much belief in him. I think the staff has that much belief in him. But do you realize the wide receiver talent they have there still? Don't just be forgetting about Brew McCoy or Squirrel White. He's still there. Dante Thornton last year came in. I thought he'd do big things. I still think he could do big things. Chris Brazel. So they've got proper transfer fits. Offensive line, I think, is a question for a lot of folks, and they have a little more confidence than the outside world does. They're good enough at running back. It's Josh Heupel. They had the number 1 offense in the country 2 years ago and could very well be in contention for that again this year.